Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For tracks, obviously. On the lot.
He became steel resistant.
Welcome back to Earthworks Hub, the podcast where we talk machinery, business, and share stories from all the people that are shaping our earthmoving and construction industry. Today's episode is a special one of sitting down with Emma and Michael from the National Diesel Dirt and Turf Expo. I usually just say DDT or Diesel Dirt and Turf, but it's actually the National Diesel Dirt and Turf Expo. It's an event that's grown into Australia's biggest construction and earthmoving machinery show. So from massive machines to cutting edge technology to exhibitors, operators, families, this is it's become one of the must attend events for anyone in the industry. So let's talk to Emma and Michael. So they're the team from DDT. I'm going to keep referring to it as DDT. Sorry. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here.
No worries. All right, so let's tell everyone what you guys do so they get to know you guys before we go and talk about Australia's greatest earth-moving machinery show. Let's start with whoever wants to go first. Just sort of tell us what you do at the DDT.
I work in the office, so I'm part of all the planning. Michael, Marty, and myself, we're the main team, and we plan the event for 12 months roughly. And we sort of start working on the next show before the next one sort of popping in. We're approaching our 10th anniversary next year, so our team's very excited. And we work on the advertising, marketing, the planning, the selling of the sites, liaising with all the customers, merchandise, you name it. So basically walk into the event and everything you see is basically because of us, the foundations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine there'd be a lot of work behind the scenes, which we'll get into very shortly, actually. Thank you, Emma, for that. What about Michael? So what's your role in DDT there?
Well, I've been involved since day one of Diesel Dirt and Turf 10 years ago. I've been involved in different aspects of the industry and I came into it. And I'm part of the team working with Marty and Emma. I have pretty much a coordination and marketing role. I work across all the aspects of it, basically coordinating with sponsors, visuals, graphics, promotions, budgeting, and some of those things most of those things that you don't see up front but are in the background, but just part of running the show, and just basically helping right across all different functions, apart from selling the space.
Yeah. All right, good. Thank you. Thanks for that. So let's start right from the start. What actually inspired the creation of DDT? What was the moving factor that made this happen?
Steve, the CEO of DDT, he's actually been in the industry for over 35 years, and he just sort of found, as a customer himself, exhibiting at a show on the earth moving sort of side of things when they're selling their products, what was needed in the industry. So he sort of found the hole and filled it. So yeah, he started it with a vision, and we've all been part of the team for the last 10 or 11 years in the planning, and we've sort of been able to help him bring his vision to life. So
Yeah.
Look, I guess one of the main things from my point of view is that it's an expo which has been developed by the industry, for the industry. We're unique in that we don't have a large expo company or professional organisation behind us, which takes a profit in selling the stands. The whole vision was to have a forum for the industry, which is largely mum and dad, small businesses, but right up to the large operators and the major global brands as well, where people could really interact without any interference from any other distractions, but basically for the industry, by the industry. And that's really been its driving success over the years, where exhibitors have been asked what they want, and the organisers of the show, the owners of the show, have delivered that basically in spades.
Yeah.
I agree, Michael. It's an opportunity for customers and families, operators, everyone to come in and network all in one place. And, the fact that we have the finance companies and we've got the the OEMs and everything all on site. You can come in, you can get your insurance, your finance, it's a one-stop shop. And as Michael said, without the distraction, you're just fully like submersed in this earth moving heaven, and you can come and you can complete the deal all in one place. And it's quite swift, and you're able to meet people face to face. And I think this day and age, we're so used to being online like we are now.
Yeah.
So I think it is nice. It gives everyone an opportunity to meet that sales rep, maybe that they've been speaking to on the phone for 6 months or emailing back and forth. So for us, we've created this personal hub, for everyone to come, and we just feel as though we've created this big family. It doesn't matter how big or small your brand or company is, and even for the attendees, the plumbers and whoever, doesn't matter what you do, you fit in somewhere. And I think we've really been able to establish like a bit of a family sort of feel, and we're very proud of that too. So yeah, I'll add that.
Yeah, I agree, because I've been to a few of the shows, and you do see that, like you're saying, that family style thing, because a lot of the stall holders, even though they're competitors, they do help each other, and
Yeah.
and they'll put some of their products in another person's stand and mix it all up a little bit, so that everyone gets to see a machine with this attachment on there, and
Yes.
even though they're competitors, sort of thing, they're still helping each other. And you see a lot of them talking and moving, walking between the stalls and having a chat and asking how you going today. And yeah, there's just a lot of interaction and networking and that. So you're right, it's a good environment for that, for our industry.
One,
Yeah.
one of the things we've noticed too over the years is the appearance of overseas factory representatives, technicians, people who are involved from the factories in developing the products. They like to come to Diesel Dirt and Turf because they get great feedback from operators, from business owners, and machine manufacturers love this sort of feedback. Improves where they put switches, how they can increase hydraulic capacities, ground engaging tools, and likewise for owner operators, they can come and talk to the people who are engineering and designing the machines and give their feedback straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And it's a pretty unique situation.
Yeah.
I think it is quite crucial, the end users coming in, and the end user is just as valuable, to the OEM as the OEM is to the end user, so they need each other. And in order to progress and grow, we've created this beautiful network where people can learn and evolve in all areas. So I think that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. A quick shout out to our platinum sponsors, Melbourne Tractors, TMC Cancella, ProScreen Australia, and Earthmoving Warehouse. Yeah. And like when we talk about OEMs, the great thing is that, if I want to go and sit on a Takeuchi machine, and then I think, I'd love to really sit on a Hitachi machine, they're just across the next stand. So you can go over there and sit on one over there, and then think, I wouldn't mind trying the Komatsu one. So you can go to the Komatsu. So the good thing is everyone's there. You don't have to keep getting in the car, drive to one place and another. So everyone's, if you want to see something, it's all there. And you've got a wide selection. Like you say, it's not just machinery, you've got attachments, technology, all the GPS things. Have you noticed a bit of a change from when you first started DDT to now, like with what products are coming through and what's being shown?
Yeah, definitely. I think the technology side of things, with all the electric stuff coming in and just little things like that. And I just think you see all the advances, and it's quite exciting, because it could even be just like a bit of a mock-up sort of thing where they're just sort of, a bit of a dry run, testing it and seeing how it goes, So we have demonstration areas and things like that on site. So it's just a good opportunity for them to present something and their ideas, even if nothing ever eventuates. Even it's all learning and growing. So I think, yeah, like in the beginning, probably a lot of ag and just, your old school sort of, just diesel, or just, just turf, just your normal petrol lawnmower. But now these days, even Toro and things like that, they've got all their electric, and it's amazing, really. What about you, Michael? What do you think?
Yeah, look, I think I see major advances in digital management of machines. See a lot more telemetry, technology. You see batteries, you see all sorts of new ideas which make people far more productive, lower their costs, they can get the job done better, more accurately. And in particular, the integrated machine guidance systems in management. That's been a major advance, and you're now seeing that incorporated on so much of the new equipment where operators don't have to do so much legwork and head work while they're on the job, where they've got all these digital tools that are really helping them become more productive. That's the thing I've noticed the most, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us, if we go back to also like, how it first started, obviously, with any business that you start, because it is like a business, I suppose, when you were launching in that, what were some of the challenges, like getting people or convincing them to have a stall, on your site? Yeah. What was that like in the beginning?
Yeah. Yes. It obviously involves a lot of networking and a lot of time, and we're okay with that because we do love that family feel and we do love connecting with people. But you're right, there was a lot of trying to convince people why it would be a good idea and all that sort of stuff. But we have been very blessed to have a lot of support from day one, and because of our network, we have been able to achieve that. So we have trust in them and they have trust in us, the exhibitors, people that work for us, things like that. So I will start with saying, even though I said in the beginning, our team, our foundation basically is Michael, Marty, and myself, our team also during the event, we rely on friends and family and, people that we know. So we don't do labour hire or anything like that. We have our family, friends, everyone that we know. And then I think from that, that's that it stems out from there, so we did gain people's trust very early on, which we're grateful for, but no doubt there was many challenges. And I think the unknown, that was a big challenge for us too. Just the what ifs and sort of praying that we could get it off the ground. But I think, our authenticity and everything like that, I think that just shines through. So I think it could have been more challenging, even though we do feel it was challenging.
Yeah.
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 Well, look, it was very different. The industry was clearly missing what diesel dirt and turf offers today. We're filling an unmet need. We're very thankful to our sponsors who started out with us from day one. Everyone took a big risk.
Yeah.
Really, when the doors opened on that first day in Penrith those 10 years ago, we were all holding our breath. We didn't know what the hell was going to happen. All we did was just work our guts out, do the best we can. There's a lot of talking, a lot of trust, a lot of, all the balls were up in the air basically. But when those doors opened and the crowds poured through, it took us about 10 minutes to realise it was a winner, basically. That's what the industry needed.
Yeah. No, that's
Definitely.
fantastic. Fantastic. I feel like we're very, very similar. Like you guys are doing similar to what I'm doing, except it's like an actual show, whereas I have an online thing is a bit different in that way. But yeah, very similar. I'm trying to get like sponsors and people to come on and join me as well. So very, very similar. What was, so give us what it looks like now. So how many stalls or exhibitors do you have roughly now compared to when you first started?
Look, we've obviously changed venues. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. So, given the space and what was allocated to us in the early days, it was a bit disjointed. So it's quite polished compared to before. So we did have, for example, an indoor pavilion where we had all of the shell scheme people that had just a 3x3 booth. And there was quite a few booths in there, don't get me wrong. But now that we're at the Dragway, going into next event, we actually have, I think, about 82 booths in there. So, and they're, well constructed, straight laneways. They're not like, snaking through and, randomly placed. So I think in that regard, we've got a lot of more polished sort of booths for the indoor, and comparing from Penrith to now we're at the Dragway on, a beautiful flat surface that's clean and less dust and all that sort of stuff. I think we've probably doubled. Would you say, Michael, as far as booths go?
I think so. Just going back to those early days again, I mean, Penrith was a great venue for us. The location was excellent. The site did have a few problems in that there was not as much hard stand as we would like. There were challenges as far as equipment chewing up the grass. The site was not a rectangle, it was like an L-shaped site, which made it a little bit difficult for people to navigate from the entry to the back and out again. And also there were some extremely windy days where it was virtually a dust storm out there,
Yes.
which exhibitors had to spend most of their time dusting the equipment off. But I think the thing that really changed the location was the residential development that the Panthers wanted to undertake out there. It became economically unfeasible for us to continue there. There are just so many aspects that we needed to change, and the dragway was really a natural progression for us. As Emma said, it's hard stand everywhere. It's excellent parking. We've got all the facilities. It's all weather, and we had a pretty bad year for the rain a couple of years ago, but it drained away quickly, and it wasn't a real issue. So it's proven itself as a great site. It's certainly a lot more comfortable for visitors to get around, navigate, and find their way. They don't have to walk as far to see everyone, whereas at Penrith they had to walk up and down quite a distance to see everything.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, there you go. I heard about this. I heard that there was a bit of a washout a couple of years ago. Yeah, at the Eastern Creek one. How did that go? What actually happened there?
Well, basically, there's a lot of rain. It was unexpected. There's some rain forecast, but when you lock in a major expo like ours, it has to go ahead, rain, hail, or snow, basically. And we had the water was virtually running like a river under people's feet at some stage. But by the second and third day, it cleared out a lot. It was fine, but the water disappeared almost as quickly as it came. The biggest problem for exhibitors was people getting out their cloths and wiping all the water off their equipment. But this stuff's designed to work outside in the weather, so it was a real-time fun event. But no one seemed to worry. No one really criticised, and you can't bet on the weather.
Yeah, yeah.
I will add to that also, Michael, despite the rain, a lot of the customers were very happy because it was actually quality people coming through the gates, and they were able to convert sales, and there was no real time wasting. And obviously that's part of the gig. You're selling machines, you are going to be talking to people for months on ends, and for potentially for them to not even ever, buy anything from you, and that's fine. That's part of the gig. But they were very happy that they were actually to convert the sales, and they had quality people coming through. So that was great for us too. That showed that despite the weather and despite the challenges, we're still able to deliver. So DDT again for the win.
That's it. I've heard a lot of storeholders say they love the families coming in because obviously you want kids and families to come in, and it's a family event as well, and they're going to be the next operators and the next people buying machinery and that. So you need that, but they always say that they have to hide all the merch and hide everything because the kids come in and just take everything. So
we are super aware of that, and we do pride ourselves on being a family-friendly event because we're aware that the children are the future for us. And if we have, an opportunity to show them and expose them to all of this beautiful machinery, the trades and all that sort of stuff, they're not dying. They're not going anywhere, providing that we can deliver this, to the families. And it's great. We love having the families come in, and I work the gate and the merchandise at the front, typically, managing the staff also, which don't need managing. But I'm just there, and I notice all these families come through, and it's like, oh, I seen you last year. And that's really nice for both of us. It's nice for them to be remembered, and it's nice for us to sort of go, wow, like they're coming back and they love us. And, it's just great. We feel that family vibe. So, yeah.
Yeah. So the event is held every year, is that right, for the last 10 years?
Yeah, it's an annual event. So typically it is in April. This year, this event was in May, purely because we work in with the Dragways calendar. So they've obviously got all their drag events and things like that. We've got to work in with an Easter show and all that sort of stuff. We sort of navigate around, but we're back in April this year, and it has been in April mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm gonna ask you a question. So I hear a lot of things. I have a lot of people come onto the show and talk about the industry and that, and DDT comes up a bit. And some people say that they feel like the show might be too often, especially because it's not cheap. If you've got a store where you got to bring machinery, like obviously there's a bit of a cost involved. And then I've heard little side comments, people saying, "Oh, maybe they shouldn't do it so often." And that. What do you think? What do you think about that comment that I hear?
So I will say, look, I'm in the office with Marty a lot more than Michael is. So I don't deal with the sales, but I'm on the back end. So I do like the invoicing, the spreadsheeting, the website sort of stuff, so what I do here is that they do wish it was perhaps a biannual event. but that nothing stops them from only exhibiting every second year. We're not telling them they have to retain their stand year to year. So we do have people like Forest Centre who come probably every 2 to 3 years, and that's great. They still have their foot in the door, and they might head off and exhibit elsewhere in between. And we do understand that it is quite an expense to get to us. The freight, the staffing costs, perhaps, your travel, all that sort of stuff. We understand all of that, but we're happy to work with you, and we're happy to see you and welcome you whenever you want to join us again, so that's their choice. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no obligation to come
No.
every year. Exactly. Yeah.
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 No, perhaps I would just add that technology is changing so quickly, and the pace of technology change is accelerating as well. So whilst 1 year sounds like it's a bit regular, I mean, a lot of things happen in 12 months, and if you wait for 2 years, there's going to be things happening and new products being released that are going to be missed out. So,
That's
and as
right.
Emma says, we've got a lot of exhibitors now who want more space, and they don't have to come every year. If they decide to come every second year and others decide to come every second year, there's always going to be something new, exciting and innovative for visitors to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other little side comments I've heard people make is that some of them wish that it moved around state to state, so they don't have to always travel to, just to Sydney, like maybe moving it to Queensland 1 year, Melbourne another year. Have you guys ever considered that, or what are your opinions on that?
We have had a lot of requests for that too, but I think, from our end, logistically and things like that, we have established our relationships here with the venue, and the marquee people that set up all the marquees and the party hire people, and we bring power in off site, and I know nothing stops us from establishing new relationships in new states and stuff, and that's fine. But I think a lot of the OEMs and stuff that are based in Sydney, they are happy to fly their staff up, and they create a networking opportunity for around our event. So if they do have any team building, things that they want to run throughout the year, they typically plan it around DDT. So everyone is all in one space, and they just use that as an opportunity. So I think as much as we could jump around, it's an amazing idea, and we're all for growth. But sometimes bigger is not always better either. And we do like maintaining the relationships we have here for now. But what do you think, Michael?
I think predictability is important, because a lot of these companies, they plan a long way ahead. And if they know that it's going to be around these dates in this place, it's a lot easier to plan. Not only that, but if you move the venue around, it's going to increase the costs a lot, because you're going to have multiple suppliers, more administration. It's going to increase the overhead, and the exhibitors are the ones that ultimately who will pay the extra price. So I think from a cost efficiency point of view, even though people have to travel to get there, I think the bottom line is our ideal in trying to keep our costs as low as possible and make the show as accessible as we can for the whole industry. I think it's important to have this home there. What happens down the track in a few years' time, who knows? But for the moment, all things being considered, I think Sydney's the place to have it, basically.
Yeah, I agree. The predictability is a great point. And I think when you are outlaying so much money, you do want it to run seamlessly. And I think as long as we are providing what we are in the venue that we are able to provide you that. We are able to give you the full experience without any hiccups. We're not going back to teething problems that we maybe were faced with 10 years ago. We're reluctant to revisit that. We feel like we haven't perfected it by any means. We're learning every year. But if we can deliver something that's seamless and as predictable as possible, I think that's I think that's so priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose Sydney is sort of in the middle. So if you're in Queensland or Melbourne, it's sort of coming down to the middle. Whereas if it was Queensland, the Melburnians might say, "Oh, it's a lot further now," and who knows? There'll
Yeah.
be other people with other. There's always something. You can't make everyone happy, I suppose. Yeah, but
And that's
yeah.
true. And the thing is, these companies do have multiple branches along, the East Coast. So, whether they're flying Sydney to Queensland or Queensland to Sydney, it's essentially going to be the same thing, because they will still want their networking opportunities to be around that time of year. So they're still going to be faced with the freight, the tourism costs, all that's the travel, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we agree. Much for muchness, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us what else you offer the exhibitors. So not only do they get a stand at DDT, I know you guys offer other things. So you have like a golf day, and you also give like a dinner night for all the exhibitors and stuff. Tell us a little bit more about what else do they get apart from just like a stand, and what else you guys offer as well.
Okay. So as Michael said earlier, for the industry, run by the industry, for the industry. So basically our networking event is on the Friday night of the actual DDT event. So the first day, the Friday. And we offer that time for all the exhibitors to come together. And as you said, even if they're opposing companies, they still come together, they have a bite to eat, and they still want to network and they still want to chat and be together. So we actually provide them with that, with a dinner and drinks night on the Friday. Good opportunity for them all to connect. And even, as we said, bring all their reps and all that sort of thing on us, on DDT as a thank you, and we also have a show guide, which is handed out to all the attendees on the weekend. Sponsors will get a free ad in the guide. But as an exhibitor, it's your choice to actually place an advertisement in that. That is live on our website also. But as far as exhibiting goes, if you just book a stand, we'll promote you as much as you like. You get a link on the website, social media, all that sort of stuff. Whatever material you want to provide us, we will push it out because we're super passionate about you guys, and we're also grateful for you. We're grateful for the exhibitors. So we want to also, we don't just want to sort of say your site and say, well, that's on you now. We want to give back too. So anything we can do as well, if anyone has ideas, throw them at us and let's chat, let's brainstorm. We love it. So yeah, it's endless, really. Open opportunity.
Yep. And also you guys do like a golf day, is that right? What's tell us a bit about the golf day.
We do. So each year we run a charity golf day, which is typically 4 weeks out from our event. We will appoint a charity and then we let them run all the ticketing and all that sort of stuff. So we don't manage any of the funds there because that's not what that's about. But we typically use our database. So it's our network, but it's the charity. So the charity just walk in and they pull up their pull-up banner on the day and they might say a speech and a thank you and a little bit of background story. But typically everyone in that room is our network, and it's a good opportunity for everyone to network 4 weeks out from the event and just, a bit of time to connect again while everything's warming up before the stress all happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And then while we're talking about exhibitors, have you got any like stories that you can tell us about, any standout stories from some of the exhibitors or some surprising moments from any of them over the years?
I'm sure there's many surprising moments that maybe we can't say. No. But, I think everyone's very enthusiastic when they come and set up their stands, which I think we love. So even back to your question earlier about how has the show evolved and what changes have we seen, as far as the stands go, each year we see that they outdo themselves. They have a great setup the previous year, but then you see them the next year and you think, wow, you've just like blown it out of the park. Like, you're just amazing. So they do offer a lot of interactive sort of activities for the visitors. So not only are we trying to provide this beautiful experience for people, but the exhibitors, they're all behind that. They're all the ones that are actually contributing to that too. So they're allowing, as you said, people to come and demo or sit on a machine and then go to the other site and sit. They're very accommodating. So I think, that's been a beautiful thing. So as far as the setup and everything goes, everyone just outdoes themselves every year, and it's great. Yeah.
I think the exhibitors themselves have learnt a lot. I mean, in the early years, people would buy a stand, haul their equipment in, put a couple of people on the stand and wait there for the orders to come in. But over the years, they realised that the Diesel Dirt and Turf brand in itself is worth something to them. So therefore, in their own marketing, in their advertising, if they tag the fact that they're Diesel Dirt and Turf, that's a greater reason for their customers to come, and it shows that they are truly professional, are part of the industry. And we see now a lot of exhibitors actually doing a lot of promotion for themselves at the show and in association with the show, which in itself adds to the whole family environment. It just brings everything together, as it were, and everyone's speaking with one voice. And so they're learning how to better handle themselves on their stands. They're learning what they've got to have there to close their sales. They understand that people are going there to do deals, to find out about prices, finance options, anything that's new. So they're becoming more skilled themselves year in, year out, just from being there and talking, because nothing educates you better than listening to your customers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you
Yeah.
said, over the years that I've been coming, I see some of them now with massive TV screens across their site, and like just lighting and music and like constant
Boss attachments.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. And they've got
Yeah.
something
It's
happening
all
all the
about the
time.
vibe.
Yeah.
It's
It
all
is.
the vibe.
It is.
I will say, as far as the vibe goes, I have noticed, now that the show is 10 years on, there is a little bit of FOMO. People really do, they know it's the place to be, and fear of missing out. So as far as the, wanting to exhibit biennially and all that sort of stuff, as Michael said, with everything coming out each year, all the innovation, it's like, do you want to be forgotten if you skip a year as well? So with how everyone outdoes themselves every year and what they're willing to present and how far they're willing to go, with the outlay all that money, like just to showcase their products and services as best they can. It's like, it's on you, bit of FOMO, but yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose sometimes you can't put a figure on something. Like you can't come back out of the show and say, oh, how much money did you make out of the show? You can't really put a dollar value on it. You'll know when those sales start coming through. And someone, like you said earlier, might not buy your product. Maybe a few months later, they'll come in and say, hey, I remember at the DDT, I came in and looked at your product and I'm ready to buy now. So you may not have made that money instantly in that weekend, but it does come down the line. So yeah, it's almost like you say, people probably do have that FOMO because they think, well, if I don't go, then there's that chance I might lose some sales, or someone else will bring in something that I've already got. So I better go and showcase mine. Yeah. So yeah.
Absolutely. It's an opportunity as well for these exhibitors to come in and obtain a database and to reach people that perhaps they'd have never reached before. So they're exposing themselves, to all these extra people that perhaps maybe not even known about them, So yeah, it's very exciting actually watching everyone, all aspects of the show.
The thing is, there's a lot of information out there in the cloud and data land and the web and everything. But at the end of the day, there's no substitute to actually kicking the tires and sitting in the seat and pulling the levers. Not only that, but talking to the people who make the machines and deal with them every day, whether it's finance, lubricants, ground engaging tools, attachments, technology, you name it. I've heard many stories of people who said, wow, I'm glad I came here. I never knew this or I never knew that. And this has been worth my trip. And some people have actually come back for 3 days in a row, which is amazing. And I think in those early days, we had some exhibitors who said to me, by the Saturday afternoon, we've got our year of sales now, we could pack up and go home. And they're there to sell iron, they're there to sell equipment. Not only that, but most people seem to fill up their inquiry book for 12 months to the next show. It gives them 6 to 8 months of just following up leads and doing demonstrations and just closing sales. So it's not just those 3 days, it's for a whole year that follows. The benefit is.
Yeah, there really is no substitute for being face to face. And I think you're a salesman, you're good with people. You do want to be face to face with your customers, and you do want to build them relationships because, a phone call or an email or, someone can just not answer your call or just unsubscribe, and that's fine. But if they're there and they're on site in front of you on your stand, you've got the best opportunity you have. I'm not going to say to win them over, but you get to connect with these people, and just there's no substitute for connection. It's just such a beautiful thing. Yeah.
The other thing is people love coming to the Big Pickles auction. Pickles really have been a great supporter of ours. They just bring a huge amount of gear to that auction on the Saturday at the 1 o'clock. And you see people just getting in there half an hour beforehand. They do an online auction as well, nationally from there, and it's become one of the must-sees from Diesel, Dirt and Turf. And I think Pickles would be really sorry if we went there every year for this big Pickles sale.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, Michael, with the pickles auction, they're there and they're providing their service also, but they're offering the exhibitors an opportunity to list their products too. And I think all they're charging is an admin fee typically. So I don't think they take a cut. I think it's, once again, for the industry. So another opportunity to make relationships with pickles, if you are, a salesman or whatever, if you've got gear to move or, stock that you've traded in or anything like that, it's an opportunity for people to move that stuff on. And they, you can actually recoup some money by exhibiting at DDT, in other ways too. Moving that stock on, I think, is very valuable. You don't want that sitting in your yard when it's secondhand or a trade-in or used. You do want to turn that over. So pickles, they're a very strong part of our foundation too from day one.
Yeah. Just getting back to the predictability, that works quite well in terms of country and interstate visitation, that they know where they can actually book, where to stay. They can establish a relationship with their accommodation provider. They can book year to year. We've got special deals happening for people from interstate, so they're getting the best room rate possible, as close as possible to the expo location. So that's another reason for the predictability and having it at the same place, which I just thought about.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I've been going for a few years and staying at the same hotel, and I notice a lot of the exhibitors stay at the same hotel there, and I actually scored a few sponsors from staying with them and having a few beers and talking, and they're asking, what do you actually do? And then we actually got to know each other, and then they're like, oh, we might sponsor you now. And that's, so you're right, yeah, you're doing it year to year, you see the same people, and then you get to know each other a bit more, and then now I already know I'm going to stay at this hotel, and these people will probably be there, and yeah, you're right. Yeah, you do. If it's at the same place all the time, you sort of get to just organize yourself a bit easier. And even now, we're going to probably talk about logistics a little bit. Knowing where to take your stuff and where it can get stored while you set up and all that. If it's in the same spot all the time, you already have that organized. So on that note, let's talk a bit about that logistics. I imagine there'd be a lot going on in the background before the show, after the show. Tell us about some of these logistical challenges people face with the show.
I'd like to say our forklift drivers are amazing. Once again, friends and family, we're super grateful for them. They're on site with us during the whole setup and pack up. They're responsible for offloading every single attachment you see. And we've got a team of only about 3 or 4 boys. So they work round the clock, rain, hail or shine. And, going back to all that rain we experienced a few years ago, they didn't stop. You're saying, come in, have a break, do what you got to do. But they are just incredible. They're so dedicated. Our team is just amazing. And I don't know what we'd do without them. So as far as all that goes, you're greeted at the gate typically by the same person. So all the truck drivers, we're aware of them and we know what site they're delivering for and all that sort of stuff. And the same thing with our security team. They're all a part of that. They're all there every year. So the predictability there, once again, we know that all the goods are looked after, all the gear's, safe. And as far as all the logistics goes, well, there is challenges at times and we do have a lot of international guests. So sometimes things don't arrive on time for their stand. We've run into things like that. Or going back to our forklift drivers, they're still setting up, on Saturday morning because something's come in late, last minute. And, so nothing is too much really. We're happy to do what we can to make sure we can deliver that. But logistics, I wish that the visitors were flies on the wall during setup because you walk in, you think, wow, this is cool. But just so much goes into it behind the scenes. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know because I turned up one day early. I think this year I turned up a day early and I happened to go in. One of the exhibitors had come in and, look at our stand. And I just saw, heaps of action, machines getting off the floats, people bringing in products, attachments getting unloaded. And like you said, I saw the forklifts going around, bringing stuff to everyone. It was a lot of action. Organised though, it was pretty actually organised, and everyone knew what was going on, but it was just a lot of action going on. Yeah.
Well, once again, as Michael said, the predictability of that, our team is our team every single year. So they have, your best interest at heart, and, they're looking after all the goods that are being delivered, and perhaps sometimes even the exhibitors aren't even on site, but we're looking after their trucks to be unloaded because maybe they're still on their way down from Queensland themselves or whatever that might be. So, they've entrusted us with their goods, and they're looked after, and our team is just great. And we're lucky that we have the same team every year, because I think that turnover of staff would just be such a headache. But yes, looks like chaos, but it is organised and everyone knows what they've got to do. And as I said earlier, I have a team to manage, but I don't need to manage them. They're all wonderful, and they just know what's next,
And what about, so as an exhibitor, how many days prior to the show can they start bringing product in, and what's the process afterwards as well, like when they go to clean up?
So typically Friday before the show, so they get about eight odd days to get in. Same thing with the marquee builders. They're in pretty early as well, just to make sure that they're sort of out of the way by the time most of the big gear starts rolling in. And then Sunday the show finishes at 3 p.m. So once all the crowd is out, we let trucks in from 3. So we even have people like Dean Trailers. They get their cars to the gate for 3 o'clock, and they're loading their trailers up and they're driving straight home. And then we've got other people who are still on site till the Tuesday afternoon trying to clear out, because obviously they've got more than just a few trailers on their site to clean up. So we get the Sunday from 3, basically round the clock till 6 p.m. Tuesday. So it's chaos on the pack up. Yeah.
Everyone's trying to get out.
Short and sharp, but very efficient. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like I was saying earlier, I suppose there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background, but even, having your traffic controllers and all those people that you've got, organising the event, what's it like, managing all them? I know you just said then that a lot of them are family and friends, so they pretty much know what to do already. And I have noticed that over the years, it's the same traffic controllers at the front, the same people at the gate. Well, how do you manage so many people, like especially during those 3 days?
Obviously, it's all outsourced. We know the people, they're friends and family, but it's outsourced. So, they're contractors. That's great. We trust that they know their job, and we've really had no issues. We even get extra cleaners in. So the dragway provide cleaners, but we even get extra cleaners in to make sure that our toilets are really up to date, because we know there's so many people coming through. And I know that might seem super irrelevant, but we really want to make the venue and the event feel as comfortable and welcoming as possible. So even right down to having extra cleaners, we even get, extras in to do all that. So yeah, we manage just fine. And typically majority of our team is up at the entrance, and then everyone else that we, trust to do the traffic control or the security or whatever that might be, they're all roaming. So we feel like we've got eyes all over the site, but we trust them. So and as I said, if we had different teams in each year, perhaps it would be really hard to manage because we don't know them, but the fact we do, there's a lot of trust in our network. So I think that's really, really strong for us. Yeah.
Yeah. And now, as an exhibitor, so if someone was an exhibitor wanting to come in, what would be your advice for an exhibitor, any exhibitor that's starting, even if it's their first time or guys that have been there for years?
I will say, get in on the Friday before and start setting up as early as you can, because it puts so much pressure on our staff when we're still, got the forklift boys there, on Thursday night or Friday morning. They're still, setting up someone's site. In order for it to run as smooth as possible, we always encourage that people are in the Friday before and just make a start. Just come and even view your stand. If you've booked a site, but only based on what you've seen on a map, on your computer, even just come and walk the site. Don't come in on Wednesday afternoon and start planning then, So we encourage that everyone is in as early as possible. And also to just alleviate that bit of pressure and stress even for the exhibitor, because if any challenges arise, we have time Otherwise, if you're trying to bump in on Thursday, we don't have time. We're like minutes, it's happening. So I would encourage that everyone gets in on time.
Yeah, I think the thing you notice really, there's a feeling of friendly efficiency about the site, that no one is in a mode of panic because everything is so well organised, and that's because the staff are regular, everyone knows their job, and the exhibitors who've been there more than once, they know the place backwards, they know what they have to do. The fact they've been there before, it de-stresses them a lot. They know how much gear they can bring in, where they're going to place this bit of gear and that bit of gear. And yeah, I mean, I guess the feeling of the whole site when it's running is just friendly efficiency. It just, everyone's smiling, everyone loves being there, and it just works, basically.
Yeah, yeah. And then what about for attendees? Any advice for anyone that's attending the expo, either for the first time or is a regular? Any what
I'd just
advice?
say wear comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's so much to see,
Yeah.
and I think if people download the site map on their device, it's very helpful because then they know exactly where they want to go. They might want to plan their visit. They can go on the website. They've got stand numbers. They've got a site map. They might have particular interests, or they don't want to waste time seeing people that aren't relevant to their business. So I'd say plan your visit because there's a lot to see, and get there as early as you can. And just know there's plenty of hospitality areas. There's lots of great food. There's things to entertain the kids. Yeah, we make it as family friendly as possible, but just plan your visit. Make sure you know what you want to see, who you want to see. And a lot of the exhibitors will actually make appointments with visitors to say, okay, come and see us on our stand number, whatever. At this time of the day, we'll make sure you're there. So you don't waste your time and you don't waste the exhibitor's time.
Even taking advantage of the early bird tickets, we do offer free parking, and children under 16 will enter the event for free all year round. It doesn't matter when, but as far as the adult tickets go, perhaps take advantage of the early bird tickets. Maybe that, but definitely the good shoes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I did the show last year and was there for 3 days, just pushing my little trolley around, visiting all the sites. I could barely walk by the third day. I couldn't walk anymore. I was gone, and I had work boots on the whole time, so I was gone. I couldn't stand. Yeah, lucky I had the trolley to sit on whenever I had a chance. So yeah, there's a lot to see, and in the 3 days, I just managed to go around and still didn't see a lot of people, and wanted to see everyone but couldn't. So that's how much is there. There's a lot to see. Yeah, exactly. And the food was amazing. Yeah, you're right. There was what was it? I think it was the pizza guy had the funny thing. I'll tell you a funny story. So he has the price list on the side of his van, and I went up and I was saying, "Where's your price list? I can't see your prices." And he said, "Are they polarized sunnies?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Take them off." And then when I took them off, I could see the LED sign. You can't see it when you've got polarized. So if you've got polarized sunglasses, make sure you take them off to see the price list, people. That's my experience anyway. Yeah.
Be the most important tip then, Ivan.
That's
There
the
you
one.
go. More than the shoes.
That's the one. That's the one.
That's like having your beer goggles on.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. Oh, and a hat. I definitely recommend wearing a hat. And if you haven't got one, yeah, ask one of the store holders for a hat because yeah, the sun can get pretty strong when you're walking around. Yeah.
Well, we're
Yeah.
pretty conscious of that, and you'll find that many of the exhibitors give out bottles of water. There's water stations everywhere. People need to stay hydrated because it can get hot depending on the luck of the year. So, yeah, or bring an umbrella or otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yes.
Prepare for
Or a
everything.
sandbag. Or some sandbags.
Yeah.
Whatever's good.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds a little bit like Melbourne weather then. That's right. If it was in Melbourne, yeah, you'd have to bring everything with you. Yeah. You never know what's going
Well,
to
that's
happen here.
another argument for not having it there, I guess.
There you go. Exactly. Exactly.
We're
Oh,
out, Ivan. No Melbourne for us.
no,
Sorry.
Melbourne. Yeah. I've just put you off. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm an ex-Melburnian and we love you all, but we're trying to make it comfortable for when you come and visit us.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. All right. What about let's look forward now. So the show's been going for what, 10 years? You've obviously moved from Penrith now to Eastern Creek. It's building, it's getting bigger. A lot more people are knowing about the show and stuff. What is the future? Where do you see Diesel and Turf going in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think we definitely want to maintain that family friendly feel, the very welcoming sort of vibes, as Michael said earlier. But I think each year everyone does sort of bring that more polished look. But I think we've been able to maintain that polished look while still being very approachable and friendly. So I think we would like to maintain that going forward into the future. And obviously, all these products that are coming out, we're mind blown every year. So I think each year the technology is just going to keep progressing, and all of the big brands do want to be there. So I think that's really exciting as well. So I think the bigger our name gets, I guess, the more people will want to be there, a little bit of FOMO. But we do have a lot of international guests, and we're noting as each year goes on that there are more and more international guests. So I think that's sort of where it's heading for us, and an opportunity for everyone to really, truly be in one place. Because, if we're getting people from China and Italy and all that, it really is happening. It's not just everyone in one place from the east coast of Australia. It really, truly is a national event. And now internationally, we're recognised and visitors are coming in. So we're really flattered. But I think the next 10 years, I think we're going to really be mind blown. And I think even more than what we could even predict or have hoped for. So I can't project that because I think there's many blessings coming our way that we're not even sure about yet. So
yeah, and I think that we should mention the role that Komatsu's played in supporting us over the last few years. They've got the demonstration sites, and they always seem to come up with something that's very innovative, groundbreaking, new. And they use Diesel Dirt and Turf for talking about all their new gear, and I think it really works for them, and I think it's a testimony to the power of Diesel Dirt and Turf Expo. The brands such as Komatsu take such a serious look at what the expo is doing, and they invest massively in it in terms of their staff. I mean, you go onto their stand, the amount of machines and staff and support services from all over the place they've got there is just mind-blowing. It's the same with other brands. I mean, Cat and Cabelco, all these other big brands are all there, but it's important to everyone now. And I think it'll be becoming more so over the next few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree
with you, Michael. I think also, having such huge support from Komatsu and all of the other big brands, we're sort of setting the tone for the rest of the industry of what's expected, and they're setting the bar really high. So I think, as far as all of the new brands and up and coming things, coming out of the woodworks, it's all governed by what we already have, and they're really, as I said, setting the bar very high. So it's exciting. It's endless. The opportunities are endless.
Yeah. No, good. That's it. What is there anything you guys want to add? We're coming up towards the end here. Is there anything that you guys want to talk about, or that I haven't asked, or any questions that I haven't asked?
I would like to thank our sponsors, Komatsu being gold, Pickles being our associate. They're a partner every year from day one. We're super grateful for them. We've got Genshaw, Soda Capital, and Machines for You. And without being backed by sponsors, as you mentioned earlier, Ivan, they are the backbone. So I would like to thank our sponsors. I think they're responsible for everything you see when you enter the gate as an attendee or even an exhibitor on site, So, yeah, I'd like to thank them.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, Ivan, I think a bit of advice. Perhaps you could ask Komatsu to have some caps embroidered mirror image back to front so that when you're on screen, you can actually read it.
I'll have to, yeah. I'll have to talk to them about that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The signage in the background, you need a mirror image version of your sign behind your head there too.
Next episode.
Next one.
Fascinating trying to read stuff backwards.
Well, I should get it and just flip it around backwards. Yeah, I don't know if it'll still work or not.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was an innovation by Earthmoving Warehouse, because when I do my live shows on Instagram, they're always mirrored. So they thought, oh yeah, it would be wise and just put in a mirrored or a back to front sign. But then they didn't realize that I always edit that at the end anyway, and it comes out the right way. So yeah, so that's the story behind that one. So. Yeah, they're gonna give me a new sign. Apparently, we'll see when though. Yeah, no, I'm really happy to hear a lot more about the show, and I think a lot of people do attend the show and don't know what goes on behind the backgrounds and who's actually a part of it. And actually, did you say you had a bit of a mission statement to read out? Do you want to do that while we're here?
I can read it. It is quite long. But I perhaps will just finish off on the last
We
paragraph.
could actually send you a written text of it if you wanted to.
Yeah, I can send it to you for the show notes. That's not a problem. But
All right.
this is from Steve, our CEO. And he wrote, from day one, I wanted the event to be family friendly. Most of our customers are family businesses and major purchasing decisions are made together. So we designed an expo that welcomes everyone, where business meets community. Today, DDT Expo is 10 years strong and growing fast. It's already on the World Expo calendar, and our goal is to make it a truly world-class event that we can all be proud of. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Together, we're shaping the future of our industry. So that's just how Steve signed off, but I will send you that for perhaps the show notes. But he's very passionate about, you know, we've been able to bring his vision to life. So he's super grateful for that, and we're all aware of that. But that little mission statement, everything that he envisioned, and all the backbone, the family run sort of, like I said, friends, family, everyone that's involved with us, that all shines through. And I think it's he said it all there. So
Yeah, no, that's well put by Steve. Yeah, good,
yeah.
good, and thank you to Steve as well for putting on such a good show
Yeah.
for all these years. And yeah, I'll look forward to seeing what comes, what happens in the future, and I imagine it will just grow. Thank you very much to both of you for joining us and sharing some stories about DDT there. Can we just end on a couple of fun questions? What if you could take home any single machine from the expo, what would you be choosing? If we start with Michael, or Emma.
You go first, Michael.
Yeah, if you could choose one machine from what you've seen at the show.
Look, I think some of the demolition gear, some of the huge demolition tools, really, they never cease to amaze me. The fact that these attachments go onto massive excavators that can actually chew away buildings in an afternoon is just something I find quite staggering. Not only that, but some of the high access and high lift equipment, the heights that this stuff is going to now and the stability it's being offered with, just amazing. It's just so much fun to watch it being there.
Well, there you go, Emma.
Yeah, we were on Channel 7 Sunrise, and I got interviewed by the presenter there, and I made a big mistake. But I said, the 100-ton dump truck behind me, because someone earlier that morning, we had to be there from like 2:30 in the morning or something ridiculous. Someone told me it was 100-ton. So they told me, like, what would you like to tell, the audience? And I said, you want to come and see the 100-ton dump truck? So, it wasn't a 100-ton dump truck, but I'll be happy to take that one home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
It was pretty big. Like, I was that tired that I thought it was
Yeah.
100 ton.
That's
That's
just
okay.
the big dump truck
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
right.
that year where Channel 7 decided to do breakfast from the show was just unbelievable. I think I had 2 hours sleep that night.
Mm.
But I forget how many, we would have had close to 90,000 people through the show that weekend.
Yes.
People had never heard of earth-moving equipment, all of a sudden being on Channel 7 for breakfast. Every man, woman and his dog and
That's
grandmother
true.
came through. We were virtually swamped on the Sunday. I'll never forget that. Those in the days when entrance was free. Look, we made entrance as a small fee simply because we're trying to keep the price down for the exhibitors. And not only that, but it does stop people just coming and cluttering up the place and getting in the way of people who actually want to buy real gear. So we have sorted the wheat out from the chaff with the entry fee. It's only the price of a couple of cups of coffee, but it's enough to dissuade those who just want to come along and kick tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Ivan said earlier, we've sort of minimised the pen and hat stealing from the stand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the exhibitors are able to hold their merchandise down a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's it. And when you
Yeah.
say a couple of cups of coffee, I tell you what, coffee's gone through the roof nowadays. Yeah, so
Yes.
Wow.
we can't nowadays. I tell people, yeah, my memberships are only a couple of cups of coffee, and they're like, yeah, but coffee nowadays is nearly $10 a coffee. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Yes.
Well,
So one coffee then. One
Yeah,
coffee.
one
roughly.
coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonny, many of the exhibitors will serve you coffee and water, and if you get there at lunchtime, you can usually grab a slice of pizza or something if you're really desperate. So, but
Yeah.
it's all fun. Everyone's willing to share what they've got.
Yeah, a lot of our exhibitors do actually have RSAs on their site, and they have little bar setups, and as Michael said, pizza and food, and they get catering from our other exhibitors. So it's lovely. You can come, and you can also sort of have a free day out. You know, if you don't want to buy food, you'll always find a stand that will be giving something away. So yeah.
No, that's it. And like you said, they do sell some fantastic food there as well for anyone that wants to go and eat while they're there. So it's a full day. You can spend the full day there from morning till night, and it'll be well taken care of. For all the listeners, if they want to find out more about Diesel Dirt and Turf, where's the best place to find out any more information?
www.dieseldirtandturf.com.au. That would be lovely. That would be a great little base for you. And from that, it's linked to all of our socials. Our sponsors are linked off that. We've got all the about, plan your visit, show guide. The digital guide is live for 12 months. So if you're still wishing to view the guide from our 2025 event, you can view that right up until probably about 2 weeks before our next event, when we will upload the new guide. So yeah, the website pretty much is a good little start for everyone to view everything, and everything's linked from there.
We've got a lot of photos on our image gallery, so if people want to know what they're going to see when they get there, just jump on the website, go to the image gallery, and just flick through the photos, and you'll see what you're likely to experience.
All right. And so it's at Eastern Creek in Sydney. What are the dates again? 17th to the 19th of April?
17th, 18th, 19th of April, 2026, Sydney Dragway, New South Wales. Yeah.
That's right.
Be there.
Be there.
Yeah, be there or FOMO.
Yeah, that's right. Be there or FOMO. And what's the opening and closing times for attendees?
The Friday is 9:30 till 3, but we're actually closing the gate to the public at 2 to allow them to have the hour to get in and out. So we're not going to sell you a ticket 15 minutes before we close. And then that's when we'll have our networking evening. So purely Friday is more of a bit of a trade day, but everyone is welcome. It's just a shorter day because we prioritise the networking in the afternoon. Saturday is 9:30 till 5, once again closing the gate at 4. And then Sunday will be 10 till 3, closing the gate at 2.
Excellent. There you go, guys. You've got the dates, you've got the times, you know where to be. It's in the location, Eastern Creek. So if people want to be an exhibitor, is it too late, or is there like a cut-off date, or can they just still keep trying, and even just before the event?
Every year we have people still calling Marty on Thursday afternoon, do you have any space left? So we welcome everyone. We will always find space for you if we can, but always reach out to Marty. We do have a book a stand tab and application form on the website, or you can reach out to us on social media. We'll always get back to you. It's no problems. But yeah, if you want to stand, we'll always make it work.
Right, very good. All right. Thank you. Thank you once again, guys. So Emma and Michael from Diesel Dirt and Turf, or National Diesel Dirt and Turf, I should say. Thank you very much for sharing some background information and a bit of history and on what goes on with DDT and what the future holds. There you go. Thank you for joining us, guys.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Ivan.
And thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
Anytime. And to all the listeners, thank you very much for joining us for, once again, another Earthworks Hub episode. These are all recorded, so you can go and look at these on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And also make sure that you're following Earthworks Hub on all the platforms, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. We've got a membership club on Patreon, so make sure you go ahead and join that as well. We've got chat groups on there, templates, resources to help people with their businesses, and early access to videos such as this one. So make sure you go and check out all the Earthworks Hub platforms. Also, you can find out a lot more information on earthworkshub.com.au. We've got directories for events such as DDT and a whole range of other things on there. Go check it out, www.earthworkshub.com.au. Thank you once again, and I'll see you all on the next episode. Take care, everyone.
The tracks, obviously, on the lot.
It became steel resistant.